Hello everyone, very good morning. So in previous video we completed about the chapter biological classification, isn't it? So where you have studied various kingdoms like Monera, Protista and Mycota, the general characters and also the classification of those kingdoms, isn't it? So let us continue with the same topic, that is about the five kingdom systems of classification. Okay, so where you have studied about three kingdoms, isn't it? So we finished three. So let us start with the next kingdom, that is the fourth kingdom, that is kingdom Plantae or plant kingdom. Kingdom Plantae or plant kingdom. Okay, see, you know the general characters or basic properties of the kingdom Plantae, isn't it? So where you know that almost all plants are, there are few exceptions, but almost all plants are autotrophic in nature. It means they were able to prepare their own food. So that means they have a chlorophyll pigment, isn't it? So they have a characteristic pigment, that is what is called as chlorophyll. So that chlorophyll is responsible for trapping the light energy. So by that the plant can photosynthesize and they can prepare their own food, isn't it? So that is one of the principal character or the major character of all plants. Okay, there are few exceptions, like some of the plants are parasitic in nature. It means they depends on other organisms for their, means other plants, not other organism, other plants, not depend on animal or like that. They depends on other plants for their food. Okay, so there may be parasitic plants also. There are some few exceptions, not all. Okay, so and another thing, the major thing that differs the plants from animals, so where the plant cells are surrounded by means of a tough rigid cell wall, isn't it? So where the cell wall is composed of mainly cellulose, whereas animal cell that lacks a cell wall, they lack the cell wall. So that is a major difference between the plant cell and the animal cell. Okay, and plants are non-motile. So that is another thing. Most of the animals are motile, but few are sedentary also. They found attached to some substratum, but majorly the plants are non-motile. But the sex cells of plants, it means the gametes of some of the plants, so they are motile. It means they show, especially the lower plants, the gametes in lower plants, they show motility. They have flagella and they show motility. And even the lower plants, like some of the algae, like unicellular algae, like Chlamydomonas and other volvox. So where, especially volvox is a colonial algae, whereas unicellular algae like Chlamydomonas, that shows motility. So where the cells are provided with the flagella, or the spores which are produced by algae like zoospores, they are motile. But the higher plants, they are non-motile, so they are stationary. So another main thing, the plant body, especially in the higher plants, that is mainly differentiated into root, stem and leaf, isn't it? So with the help of the root, the plants can firmly fix to the soil, so whereby the plant can absorb the water and the nutrients from the soil. So then after that the leaves will prepare the food, that is by means of photosynthesis. Okay, so such organs which are absent in animals, so where the animals do not have leaves, stem and leaf, so where almost all animals are motile in nature, and major thing, animals are heterotrophic in nature, isn't it? So plants are autotrophs, whereas animals are heterotrophic in nature. So these characters which distinguishes the plants as from animals. Okay, so today in this video let us talk about the kingdom Plantae. Okay, and the classification of the kingdom Plantae. So then let us start with the one by one forms of different forms in kingdom Plantae. Okay, see, kingdom Plantae was classified by various taxonomists, especially the contribution of Carolus Linnaeus, it is more. Okay, so where he classified the plant kingdom into flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Okay, so thereafter the seed-bearing plants and non-seed-bearing plants. Okay, so like that the kingdom Plantae has been classified. Means flowering plants, all the flower bearing plants, especially nothing but the angiosperm, isn't it? So angiosperms are categorized into one category, whereas all non-flowering plants are categorized into another category. Okay, so where after that it has slightly modified seed bearing and non-seed bearing plants. Seed bearing plants where gymnosperms and angiosperms, they comes under one category. So whereas the other groups of plants like algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes, they were comes under another category, that is in non-seed bearing plants. So like that, so in different ways the kingdom Plantae has been classified. Okay, but the system of Carolus Linnaeus system of classification, it is purely artificial, that you know. So where it is based only on the morphological observations and morphological characters. So later on the classification that is based on the evolution, then from some from simple to complex or primitive to advanced form. So like that the classification has taken place. Okay, so where the plant kingdom that get classified from primitive plants to advanced plants. So like that, based on the evolutionary point of view, the kingdom Plantae that has been classified. Okay, so after that, E.M. Eichler, who classified the plant kingdom. Okay, so he classified the plant kingdom, that is Eichler. So where we'll write the classification here. Kingdom Plantae is broadly classified into two categories or into two major branches. Okay, broadly classified into two major branches. One is Cryptogamia and another one is Phanerogamia. Cryptogamia and another thing is Phanerogamia. Okay, see again, Cryptogamia is further classified into Thallophyta. Okay, so then Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Okay, then Phanerogamia is further classified into Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. Okay, so this is the broad outline classification of the kingdom Plantae. So where the kingdom Plantae is classified majorly into two categories, that is cryptogams and phanerogams. Okay, so let us look into what are those cryptogams and what are the phanerogams and what is the difference between them, the cryptogams and as well as the phanerogams. Okay, see, cryptogams means they are non-seeded plants. They do not bear the seeds. Okay, cryptogams means these are the non-seeded plants. They do not bear the seeds. They reproduce by producing the spores. Means by producing spores, those plants they mainly reproduce. They are non-seeded plants. Mainly they reproduce by producing the spores. Spores ana produce ಮಾಡಿ reproduce ಮಾಡಂತ plants. ಯಾವುದು? They are nothing but the cryptogams. Okay. They are non-seeded plants. They do not bear the seed. Okay, they won't bear the seeds. Such plants are said to be cryptogams. Again, this cryptogam is classified into the divisions like Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Okay, so this Thallophyta, under this, where it comes like groups like algae. Earlier the fungi is also included, because fungi earlier it was studied under the kingdom Plantae. So where fungi is also included under that is under the Thallophyta. The major difference between algae and fungi that you know, where algae are green, which are chlorophyllous, and they are autotrophic in nature. So both, what basis they included here, based on the nature of the plant body. So where plant body here, it is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf in both the forms, in algae as well as in fungi, isn't it? So where they have a thalloid plant body. So ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ thalloid plant body ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, Thallophyta ಅಂತ ನೇಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. So what is a thallus here? A thallus is an undifferentiated plant body where the plant body is not differentiated into root, stem and leaf. So that is considered as Thallophyta. So where the two forms were included, one is algae, another one is a fungi. So now you have studied fungi in kingdom Mycota, isn't it? So but earlier, so where we study fungi under the kingdom Plantae. Okay, so then what are cryptogams? They are spore bearing plants. They do not bear the seeds. They reproduce by producing the spores. And this cryptogamia is further divided into Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. So and another thing in Thallophyta, so where these forms they do not produce embryo. They do not produce embryo. You know that usually the sexual reproduction results in the formation of zygote, and that zygote develops into embryo, isn't it? But in these forms, the cryptogams they do not produce embryo. Sorry, especially in Thallophyta, they do not produce embryo. Okay, so that is another major thing. So then On the other side of this cryptogamia, so where bryophytes and pteridophytes. Okay, so these bryophytes and pteridophytes, they produce a embryo. They are slightly advanced forms when compared to these. So they produce embryo. So where from the embryo that has been originated from the bryophytes. Okay, so where on in other groups of the plants where we can see embryos, where zygote that develops into embryo. Okay, so that can be seen in bryophyta. So where you can see the different forms like Hepaticopsida, Anthoceratopsida, and the other groups like mosses. Okay, so then the more advanced plants than bryophytes, they are pteridophytes. See, some of the bryophytes, they are also thalloid in nature, like Marchantia, Rixia, Tarzonia. They are thalloid in nature. Thalloid means they do not show any differences in root, stem, or leaf, but they bear some small unicellular structures. They are what is called as rhizoids. With the help of that, they can absorb the water and the nutrients from the soil. Okay, but pteridophytes are more advanced when compared to bryophytes. Okay, so based on the evolution point of view, Eichler, he classifies the kingdom Plantae. So that is one thing. So and they comes under both the Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. All of them, they comes under cryptogamia. It means they do not produce the seeds; they reproduce by producing the spores. Okay. Then on the next side, so where the other groups of plants, they were what is called as phanerogams. Phanerogams means these are seed-bearing plants. They reproduce mainly by producing the seeds. The seed-bearing plants are said to be phanerogams. Okay. Then there are two divisions can be seen in phanerogams, where gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, see, both of these plants, they reproduce by producing the seed. So what is the difference between them? Gymnosperma, here gymno means naked. What is gymno here? Gymno means naked, means those plants which sperma means seed. Those plants which bear the naked seed are what is called as gymnosperms. Gymno means naked and sperma means seed. Those plants which bears the naked seeds are called as the gymnosperms. Whereas on the other hand, angiosperm, angion means covered. What is angion here? Angion means covered and sperma means seeds. Those plants which bear the covered seeds are what is called as angiosperms. Okay. So whereas in case of gymnosperms, the seeds are naked. See, naked, it is nothing but where the seeds are not covered by the fruit wall. Suppose you observe any angiospermic plant. Okay, where the seeds are always found within the fruit, isn't it? So they were enveloped or they are covered by means of fruit. Whereas in case, so if you observe the jackfruit, so where the larger fruits, so where the seeds are found within the pulp, isn't it? So even inside the orange or lemon, you take any angiospermic plants, where in all those plants where the seeds are covered by the fruit wall, that is nothing but the wall of the ovary. So hence the seeds are said to be covered. That's why they were named as angion. Angio means covered. Whereas in this side, gymno means naked, sperma means seed. So where those plants which bear the naked seeds means where the seeds are not covered by the fruit wall. Such plants are considered as gymnosperms. Okay. So this is about the phanerogams. Phanerogams means those plants which reproduce by producing the seeds, they were called as phanerogams. And the plants which reproduce by producing the spores, they were considered as cryptogams. So we can classify in another way also. So like the vascular and non-vascular plants, we can classify in that way also based on the vasculature. Non-vascular plants and vascular plants. So if we consider that kind of classification like non-vascular and vascular plants are algae and bryophytes. They are non-vascular. Again, vascular plants are pteridophytes, gymnosperms and angiosperms. So that is one kind of classification. Okay. So again, where both the gymnosperms as well as angiosperms, where they can be considered, especially the angiosperms, they are flowering plants, isn't it? So the angiosperms are flowering plants and also they can be considered as siphonogams. Siphonogams even in some gymnosperms also. So where some of the primitive gymnosperms, they show reproduction like the pteridophyta, that is the ferns of pteridophytes, like that, primitive members of gymnosperms. But the advanced gymnosperms, they are siphonogams, especially when it comes to the angiosperms are purely siphonogamous plants. Siphonogams means, so where siphonogams means where the gamete, the male gamete is carried by means of the pollen tube. The gametes are carried by means of pollen tube. So where in these plants the gametes are non-motile, except primitive gymnosperms like cycas. Okay, Whereas the advanced gymnosperms like Gnetum, so where that is almost related with the angiosperm, that is showing most of the characters of the angiosperms. So where in these plants we can consider them as siphonogams, but not the primitive gymnosperms like cycas. But the advanced members of the gymnosperm, no doubt the angiosperms. Angiosperms are considered as the advanced forms of gymnosperms, and angiosperms, they are considered as siphonogams. Siphon means cavity or a canal. Okay, so it means gamma means the gametes are found within the pollen tube. By producing the pollen tube, these plants, especially the angiosperms, they reproduce by producing the pollen tube, because the male gametes, the gametes are non-motile here. Okay, but whereas in the lower forms, we consider algae as well as bryophyta, okay, and even in some forms of pteridophytes, so where the gametes, they show motility. All of these forms, they require water for their fertilization. Okay, but these forms, they do not need water for their fertilization. Okay, because they transfer the gametes through the pollen tube. That's why these plants, they were considered as siphonogams. Okay, and except Thallophyta, we can see embryo in Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms as well as in Angiosperms. Okay, then I said we can classify based on vasculature, non-vascular plants and vascular plants. Non-vascular plants are algae and bryophyte and even the fungi, whereas the vascular plants are pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm. The vasculature, that was first established in pteridophytes. Okay, so hence pteridophytes are also considered as the vascular plants. Okay, so let us look into one by one in these forms. Okay, so under that, the first category is Thallophyta. So under Thallophyta, you are going to study about the first group of organisms. We have studied about fungi, isn't it? So you are going to study now about the first groups of organisms like algae. Okay. See, what are algae? ಏನು ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಶೈವಲಗಳು ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿ ಆಲ್ಗೆ ಆರ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ thalloid. Algae are thalloid, eukaryotic, okay, thalloid, eukaryotic, green, photosynthetic, green, photosynthetic, okay, thalloid, eukaryotic, green, photosynthetic organisms. Nothing but they comes under the kingdom Plantae. Okay, so algae are thalloid in nature. It means where they do not show a differentiated plant body. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ರೂಟು ಸ್ಟೆಮು ಲೀಫ್ ಅಂತ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಶಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋಂಥ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಬಾಡಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಥ್ಯಾಲಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಥ್ಯಾಲಾಯ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ನೇಚರ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಮೇಜರ್ ಕ್ಯಾರೆಕ್ಟರ್. ದೆನ್ ಯೂಕ್ಯಾರಿಯೋಟಿಕ್, green, photosynthetic organisms. Okay, so they are nothing but the algae. So you know that algae is mainly found or distributed in algae. Most of the algae, they were found in water. Okay, so majority of them, they are found in water, isn't it? They are found in water. So few forms, they are even found on the rock surface, the moist rock surface. Some of the forms, they are found in the moist rock surface or even in the soil, or sometimes they may grow on the surface of the other organisms like even the plants, or it may be on the animals. So they can grow in various habitat. Almost algae are universal in occurrence. It means they are found almost all places. They are found in almost all places. Hence they are universal in occurrence. Which were those? The algae. Okay, and their thallus ranging from unicellular to thallus of the algae ranging from unicellular to multicellular. It is ranging from unicellular to multicellular. Okay, so where there are unicellular forms were also there, like Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, Zoochlorella. So there are unicellular forms were also there, and as well as the multicellular forms are also there. The higher algae, the advanced groups of algae, so they are even multicellular in nature. So the thallus ranges from unicellular to multicellular. They are thalloid, autotrophic, photosynthetic, green plants. They are nothing but the algae. So they are universal in occurrence. Most of them, their usual habitat is water, but along with the water, they are also found on the rock surface or the soil, or even on the surface of the other animals, or even on the plants. Okay, the ranges from unicellular to multicellular. Okay, see where these forms do not produce embryo. So I am telling about the outline general features of the algae. So later I will go in detail, in depth. Okay. So they do not produce embryo. There is no embryo formation here in algae. And even the sex organs or the sex cells, they are not covered. Sex organs or sex cells, they are not covered. They do not covered means by means of any kind of sterile structures. There is no covering. Even the sex cells and the sex organs, they are naked. Okay, so they are not covered. Okay, so they show alternation of generation. They show alternation of generation. So these organisms, they show alternation of generation. Various forms in their during their generation. It means one of the form that alternates with the another form. There are two forms in the life cycle, so they are alternating together. Okay, and another thing, the major plant body of algae is gametophyte. The dominant plant body of algae is gametophyte. See, gametophyte is nothing but the plant body that produces the gametes. As the name itself suggests, gameto means gamete, phyta means plant. Those plants which majorly produces the gametes, they are considered as gametophyte. And that is a dominant plant body. Dominant plant body means what we see, the plant body, the greenish plant body in algae as well as in bryophytes. So that is the gametophyte majorly. The sporophyte is dependent on the gametophyte, or in some of the primitive algae even it is reduced. Okay, but it is always depends on the gametophyte. Okay, in some of the forms there are two independent forms can be seen, the sporophyte and the gametophyte. But whereas in case of the bryophytes, the sporophyte develops on the gametophyte. Hence it is totally dependent on the gametophyte. Okay. So what is a gametophyte here? The plant that produces a gamete, that is considered as a gametophyte. Okay. So these are some outline the characters of algae. Okay. So let us look into, as I said, the occurrence of algae. So where algae they are found. See, based on the occurrence of algae or distribution of algae, based on the distribution, we can see algae, they are the normal like aquatic forms. Aquatic algae means they are found in water. Then the other forms like terrestrial algae, terrestrial forms, it means they are found on the land, okay, or even on the surface of the rocks, terrestrial forms. Then on the other hand, we can see the other groups like algae of unusual habitat. Algae of unusual habitats. So there are some unusual habitats. Algae can be seen even in unusual habitats. Unusual habitats means not like the normal habitats, either it is water or soil, not like that. So either they may found in even extreme salinity. They are what is called as halophytic algae. Okay. So like in salt lakes, or they may found as parasites. Some of the algae are parasites, and some algae they are growing on the surface of the animals, and some of the algae they are endozoic. Endozoic means they are found within the tissues of the animals. Some of the algae are epiphytes. Epiphytes means they are found on the, they is found growing on other larger algae or even the bryophytes or any other plants. Okay, so they are epiphytes, and even some algae they grow on snow or ice. So such habitats are said to be unusual habitats. Okay, so based on the habitat, or habitat means the place of living where they lives. Habitat. Based on the habitat means the place of living. Habitat means place of living, where the place where the organism lives. Where we can classify the algae into aquatic algae, terrestrial algae, and algae of unusual habitats. Okay, so let us look into the first one, the aquatic algae. See, aquatic algae, so where the algae that indicates they are mainly found in water, isn't it? The algae they are mainly found in water. So water anta bandaga navu, there are two forms can be seen. One is freshwater forms, another one is marine water forms. Okay, the freshwater forms, they are nothing but they are mainly found in ponds, pools, rivers, okay, like ditches, lakes, like that. They are found in lakes or ponds or pools or ditches or rivers. So where those forms are considered as freshwater forms. So like Chlamydomonas, then Ulothrix, then Edogonium. There are lots of forms. Edogonium, Cara. Okay. There are lots of forms. Then even volvox. So where we can see as freshwater forms. They are found in freshwater like ponds, pools, or ditches, rivers, like that, lakes. Okay, so they are considered as freshwater forms. Then the marine water forms. So mainly these forms they are found in oceans. Okay, oceans are sea, means they are found in salt water. Okay, their marine forms means they are found in oceans or sea. So where the marine forms like ectocarpus, then sargassum, then laminaria, like the members of laminaria. Okay, so then polysiphonia. See the members of the brown algae and red algae. So most of them, the brown algae and red algae, they are purely marine in nature. It means they are found in marine water. Okay, the freshwater, usually the green algae, they are freshwater forms. Even there are some marine forms who are also there, but majority of them they are freshwater forms. Okay, the green algae. And for example, for marine algae like ectocarpus, sargassum, or laminaria, or polysiphonia, so these forms they are considered as the marine. Okay, so when it comes to the freshwater algae, so they are the major components of, along with some similar species, andre jotege ಕೆಲವೊಂದು similar species ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು they are the major components of forming water blooms, or they were even considered as algal blooms or water blooms. So where they were mainly produced in water bodies, especially the freshwater bodies, where you might have seen in some lakes. So where the algal cells they are floating on the surface, ಪಾಚಿ ತರ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, the entire surface is covered by them, isn't it? And that emits a foul smell, ಒಂಥರ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್, ಕೆಟ್ಟ ಸ್ಮೆಲ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅದು. So that water will be dark greenish in color, isn't it? So where throughout the surface of the water body that gets spread, you might have seen in some lakes ತರ ನೊರೆ ತರ ಪಾಚಿ ತರ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಕಲರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೇಲ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ವಾಟರ್ ಸರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ. They are considered as phytoplanktons or water blooms or algal blooms. So where the water rich with the organic matter, where we can see the growth, luxurious growth of algae. Okay, where the water it is rich with the organic matter, so where we can see luxurious growth, means they grow luxuriously on that water surface. See, in such conditions what happens, especially during the night time, so these algal cells they start utilizing oxygen from that is found in that water, especially during the night, because during day they can photosynthesize and oxygen is evolving and that can be used. But what happens during the night, they start using the oxygen, the dissolved oxygen found in the water. So thereby the oxygen content for other aquatic organisms that will be decreased. The oxygen content for other aquatic organisms means the fishes or other animals which are found in the water body, or even the other plants which are found in the water body. For them, especially the fishes and the other aquatic animals, where the oxygen level that will be decreased for them. So that will leads to the cause of death of those aquatic organisms. When the algae they start luxuriously growing in such water bodies. Okay, so that is what is called as algal blooms or water blooms. Okay, so then the algae, this is about the algae of the aquatic algae. Okay, algae that is found in water, so either that is a freshwater forms or they may be the marine water forms. Okay, so then algae, terrestrial algae, so it means the algae which are found on the surface of terrestrial algae. So they are found on the surface of the soil. Okay, see, including the members of some cyanobacteria, so like Cytonema or Nostoc, Cytonema or Anabina or Nostoc. So they can grow on the surface of the soil. Okay, so then Botrydom. Okay, so likewise some of the algae they grow on the surface of the soil. If the algae they grow on the surface of the soil, they are what we call as saprophytes, where the algae they grows on the surface of the soil surface ಮೇಲೆ grow ಅದನ್ನ ನಾವೇಂತೀವನ್ನ saprophytes ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Sapho means the algae they grow on the surface of the soil. Okay, so and even they may grow on the surface of the rocks, so like the Edogonium or the Ulothrix, they are found attached to the surface of the rocks, especially where the water is flowing, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಫ್ಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ. For example, like along the sides of the river, isn't it? So the river water that brushes along the rock surface, so in such surfaces the algae will grow, found attached to rock. they are what is called as lithophytes, lithophytic algae. Litho means they found attached to stones. Lithophytic algae. So where the algae they get found attached to the rock surface or by means to the stones, they are called lithophytes. Okay. So likewise, they were considered as the terrestrial algae. They are found either on the surface of the soil or even found attached to the surface of the moist rocks. So where the rock is always brushed with the water or always flowing with the water. And sir, ಈಗ ನೋಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ನೀವು ಒದ್ದೆ ಆಗಿರೋಂಥ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಪಾಚಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. So where that is nothing but the growth of the algae and even the cyanobacterial members also. Okay. So where that is what is considered as terrestrial algae. Okay. So then algae of unusual habitat. See, some of the algae, as I said, they not only grows in water or they not only found in the terrestrial habitat, there are some algae, they are unusual in their habitat. Okay. So among that, some of the algae considered as halophytic algae. Halophytic algae. Halophytic algae means these algae, they are found in extreme salinity, especially in saline lakes. Saline lakes, you heard about saline lagoons, isn't it? So where in such habitat the algae can be seen. They are found in extreme salinity. Such halo means saline. Okay. Halophytic algae. So like they are found in saline lakes or salt lakes. Okay. Such algae are said to be halophytic algae. For example, like Chlamydomonas ehrenbergii. Chlamydomonas ehrenbergii. Chlamydomonas ehrenbergii. Okay, so this is an halophytic algae. So where it grows in saline salt lakes. Okay, so extreme salinity that can be seen. So where these algae they are able to withstand such kind of salinity. Okay, so they are called as halophytic algae. Okay, so then some of the algae they even grow on ice. It means they grow on ice or snow. They are said to be cryophytic algae. Cryo, see here, cryo means ice. Cryophytic algae. They found growing on ice or snow. They found growing on ice or snow. So such algal cells are said to be cryophytic algae. Okay. So for example, like Haematococcus nivalis. Haematococcus nivalis and Chlamydomonas Yellowstonensis. Chlamydomonas Yellowstonensis and Haematococcus nivalis. So these are some of the algae which grow on ice or snow. See the first one, the Haematococcus nivalis. So where this is an algae that grows on the ice or snow covered mountains like alpine and the Arctic mountains. Okay, so Haematococcus nivalis, they were found growing on the ice covered or snow covered mountains like alpine and Arctic mountains. So where that gives a characteristic color for that snow, where the snow that looks red. Okay, the mountain that looks red mainly because of where there will be a growth of Haematococcus nivalis. Okay, so it imparts a red color to the snow. Hence that snow is what is called as red snow. So like such kinds of questions may be asked in your competitive examination like NEET or CET. Okay, so where which among the following member that is growing on the ice? Give an example for cryophytic algae among the following. Okay, so some examples will be given, or which among the following is a halophytic algae. So like that, the Haematococcus nivalis, it is a cryophytic algae. It means it starts growing on ice or snow. So where it imparts a characteristic color for the snow, where the mountain and even the snow and the mountain that looks red in color. The alpine especially and the Arctic mountains. That is Haematococcus nivalis. Then on the other hand, Chlamydomonas Yellowstonensis. See, this is a green algae where that forms greenish snow. Suppose if it grows on the snow, where the snow looks green and even the mountains also looks green in the European regions. Okay, so that is what is called as Chlamydomonas Yellowstonensis. Okay, so these are the cryophytic algae. It means they can withstand such extreme temperature like extreme coldness, isn't it? So they can grow even in very low temperature. They are called as cryophytic algae. Okay, so then the next unusual habitats like algae, epiphytic algae. Epiphytic algae. Epiphytic. As a name itself suggesting that epiphytes. Epi means above, phyta means plants. Epiphytic. It means the algae they starts grow on other plants. They start growing on other plants. Other plants means they start growing on other plants. Other plants means the larger algae or the bryophytes or even the angiosperms. It means some of the angiosperms where we can see the growth of the algae, especially the aquatic angiosperm, and even the higher algae, the larger algae, and with the smaller algae will grow. Okay, so like the species of Edogonium or Elothrix, so where they start growing on the branches of other plants. Okay, so such algae are said to be epiphytic. If they start growing on the larger algae or even the bryophytes and even on the other plants, especially on the angiosperms also, on the surface. Okay, so they are said to be epiphytes. Okay, so then I said example like Edogonium and Elothrix likewise. Okay, so then similarly epizoic algae. Epizoic algae. So epizoic algae, so where that indicates they grows on the surface of animals. So animals like snails or turtle or crabs like that. So where algae they start growing on the surface of the animals. Even for example, in snails and the mandre they grows on the surface of the shell, and even in the turtle also they grows on the surface of the shell. Okay, so such algae are said to be epizoic algae, especially the aquatic animals. Okay, so in which the algae which grows on the surface of the animals, they are said to be epizoic algae. Okay, similarly, the algae they start growing within the plant body. So for example, some members of the cyanobacteria, okay, so where they start growing within the body of the plant, they are said to be endophytic. Endo means inside, epi means outside. Endophytic algae means they start growing within the body of the plant. For example, in the coralloid roots of cycas, you know that cycas is a gymnospermic plant. In coralloid roots of cycas, and whereas in some of the members of bryophytes like Anthoceros, where algae they start growing within the thallus of Anthoceros. So where we can see Anabina or nostoc within the thallus of Anthoceros. Andre thallus ಒಳಗಡೆ plant body ಒಳಗಡೆ grow ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So coralloid roots of cycas. Cycas is a gymnospermic plant. So where that bears some special roots called as coralloid roots. Within that also we can see nostoc or Anabina. So they are said to be endophytic. It means they are growing within the plant body. Plant body ಒಳಗಡೆ grow ಆದರೆ endophytic ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Okay. Similarly, the endozoic algae. Phyta stands for plant, where zoa that stands for animal. Endozoic algae. It means the algae they grows within the tissues of the animals. Animal tissues ಒಳಗಡೆ grow ಆದರೆ such algae are said to be endozoic algae. So for example, Zoochlorella, an unicellular algae where the grows within the tissues of the animals. Okay, within the body of the animal. Such algae are said to be endozoic algae. Okay, so then some of the algae they are even parasitic in nature. Some algae are parasites. You know what are parasites? They depends on the other organisms for their food and shelter. Parasitic algae. Okay, see parasitic algae here, these algae they are growing as parasites on other plants. For example, like an algae called as Cephalurus virescens. This is an algae that grows as a parasite, especially in coffee or tea plants. So where it is causing a rust disease in them. It causing a rust disease in them. So that is what is called Cephalurus virescens. This is an example for parasitic algae. Okay. So even algae they can grow as parasites. These are some unusual habitats or unusual nature of algae. Okay. So besides that, you can see symbiotic algae also, where the algae they can live in symbiotic association with the higher plant, or even they can live in symbiotic association with the fungi. So where you have studied about lichens, isn't it? So where the members of cyanobacteria and even some of the members of green algae, so where they can also forming association with the fungi, and that forms a lichen. So where they are living in symbiotic association, and even the members of the cyanobacteria they live in symbiotic association with the bryophytes and even with the pteridophytes and also with the gymnospermic plants. So where they are said to be the symbiotic algae. So where they are forming symbiotic association with the plants. Okay. So these are some of the unusual habitats. Like algae, they may be, as I said, they may be cryophytes, means they are found living in the ice or snow, or algae they may be halophytes, okay, or algae they may be for parasites, or epiphytic algae, or epizoic algae, endophytic algae, then endozoic algae. So then there may be symbiotic algae. Okay, so this is about the habitat of algae, about the distribution. It means the occurrence of algae, where we can see algae, ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು algae ನೋಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ. Okay, so algae, they may be aquatic, that is the most common habitat for algae, aquatic algae. It may be marine water or it may be terrestrial, freshwater forms, or algae may be terrestrial. Okay, so then they may be the unusual habitats of algae. Okay, see, suppose if it is an aquatic algae, the aquatic algae, they may be free floating. Free floating means they floats on the surface of water. Water surface ಮೇಲೆ ಫ್ಲೋಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅವಾಗ ಹೇಳಿದ ಆಲ್ಗಲ್ ಬ್ಲೂಮ್ಸ್ ಈ ತರ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ಆ ತರ ಅಂತ. ಆರ್ ದೇ ಮೇ ಗೆಟ್ ಅಟ್ಯಾಚ್ ಟು ಸಬ್ಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟಮ್. Substratum means like a hard surface. It may be the surface of a rock or any other surface where the algae they start get attached. They found attached to the substratum and they start grow. Suppose if this is a branch or any stick, so where the algae they start growing on the surface of substratum like this by holding that substratum. Andre a surface ಗೆ hold ಆಗಿ algae ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, grow ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, so they attaches to the surface by means of a structure what is called as hold fast. By means of structure what is regarded as hold fast. Andre hold fast ಅನ್ನೋ structures in the algae they get attaches to the surface of the substratum. Okay, so or they may be free floating. So the attachment structure there, that is what is called as the hold fast. You remember this one. Okay, so this is about the outline general features of algae. In depth, now I am explaining in depth, isn't it? So that is about the occurrence of algae. So this will be continuous for the next video also. So where in next video I am going to talk about the cell structure of algae, then range of cell structure like unicellular forms, colonial forms, filamentous forms, multicellular forms like that, then siphonaceous forms, then range of cell structure, then thallus structure, range of thallus structure in algae. So then structure of the cell, okay, of algae. So then I'm going to talk about the reproduction in algae, how the algae will reproduce. Okay, so that I'm explaining in the next video. Okay, thank you.